Hello, you guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of Mental Health with Megan. So, today's podcast episode is going to get juicy because we are talking about my most recent breakup. And if you watch my channel a lot and my shorts and TikToks and everything, you probably already knew about this. But if you're new here or if you don't watch my channel like that, but you're joining me for the podcast, I was recently cheated on and ended a basically 6-month relationship. So I wanted to talk about this on the podcast today because it's something that I'm going through in my life currently. And I also wanted to do something fun. I wanted to play a little game with you guys. So this is the We're Not Really Strangers breakup edition. And last night I was journaling and I was going through these cards and I picked out my favorite ones, quite a bit of them, quite most of the stack basically. I picked out my favorite questions that I figured I could answer on the podcast for you guys instead of just using it to reflect in my journal, because I just thought that it would be fun to do on the podcast and get really, really deep and honest with you guys and myself. So that's what we're going to do today. So where do I even start? So I met this guy 6 months ago, 5 days after my ex-boyfriend left for college. So this was about 5 days after the last time I saw my ex and the last time I spoke to my ex in person. Actually, I think that was the last time I spoke to him completely. So yeah. And I think that this relationship was kind of unintentionally a rebound because I did meet this guy at the club and this guy was just going to be a hookup, and then it obviously turned into more than that. But I wasn't going out with the goal in mind to meet a guy. I was freshly single for the first time in a couple of years. I was really just trying to go out with my best friend and have a good night, and I did have a good night, but I met this guy and we started talking. He asked me for my Snapchat, we started talking, and I felt like we had a lot in common. And he asked me to be his girlfriend pretty soon after we started talking. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for a relationship. I don't want to rush into a relationship. I don't want to jump into this, because I feel like that's a mistake that people make kind of a lot, is jumping into a relationship too quickly before you know if it's a good idea. And being that I felt like I've done that in the past, I really did not want to do that again. So I was like, listen, I like you, I want to keep talking to you, I want to get to know you more, but I don't want to start dating right now. So we were basically dating for 6 months, but unofficially dating for 3. And then we finally made it official, because I had finally felt like it was the right time. Actually, because my tarot reader, who's also a medium, gave me a message from my grandma. And my grandma was telling me to take a risk with a romantic relationship. So when I heard that, I immediately knew what she was talking about, because I was having doubts about this relationship, and I was having I was just kind of indecisive, do I get into a relationship with this guy or not? And I kind of had doubts for a couple different reasons, but when I heard that, I was like, okay, it feels right, it's time. He made me so happy, he was so kind to me, so respectful to my mom, so respectful to me, such a gentleman. And I finally was like, okay, you asked me to be your girlfriend a while back, and I know I said I wanted to wait, but I feel ready. So yeah, we got into a relationship, and it wasn't all bad. I feel like with every relationship there's some good parts and some bad parts, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, it was an awful relationship just because it didn't end well, because it wasn't an awful relationship the whole time, just because it didn't end well, you know what I mean? So about a month ago, it was actually a month ago yesterday, I woke up very early because I had to get up and get shit done. So I was up, probably this was 6 in the morning, 6:30. And the first thing I see on my phone is a message from this girl. And I knew who she was. I knew of her. I knew that her and my boyfriend had a past with each other. So when I saw that she was texting me, I was definitely concerned. And a lot had happened in a couple days prior to this as well that kind of led me to believe that he was cheating. I found pictures of this girl on his phone. But I never found text messages between them, so I don't know, maybe he was deleting them or, talking to her on the phone or seeing her, hanging out with her, because I knew that he did hang out with her as well. They were, like, friends. And this, gentlemen, this is why girls don't like you to have friends that are girls, because this happens. So that happened, and I kind of got mad about it, got over it, whatever. The next day, he tried to catch me cheating on him by having one of his friends adding me on Snapchat and texting me like, hey, you're so pretty, can we go on a date, can we hang out, can you come over, this and that and the other thing. And of course I said no. I think I said one thing to him that was like flirtatious once I like connected the dots and figured out that it was my boyfriend's friend. And I was like, his name looked familiar. I was like, where do I know this guy from? And then I saw his name pop up on my boyfriend's phone when my boyfriend was hanging out with me the next night. And we were laying in bed, cuddling, watching a movie, having a nice night. And I saw this name on his phone, and I was like, oh my God, you're paying him to flirt with me or something. And he was like, no, I would never do that. But he was. Well, he wasn't paying him, but, he was just his friend. And he was, like, scheming this up. He had asked his friend to flirt with me so that he could catch me. He wanted to catch me cheating so I could seem like the bad guy and he could end the relationship and get away scot-free without, getting in trouble or looking like the bad guy. And when I told my friends that he was trying to catch me cheating, they were like, Megan, he's self-projecting. Like, he's cheating on you. And I was like, no, he would never do that. Well, 2 days later, I get this text message from this girl, the beloved, hey girly text. But she wasn't even doing it in like a sense that she wanted to be nice. She was doing it in like, I got your man kind of way. And I was like, that's not funny. Like, why would you want to treat another girl like that is beyond me. But I am grateful that she told me and sent me these videos. Otherwise, I could still be with this idiot. So it was like 6:30 in the morning. I opened her message and it's videos of her and my boyfriend making out. So the fact that there was video proof blew my mind. Because if she had just come to me and said, oh, this happened between me and your boyfriend, and he was telling me it didn't, and she was telling me it did, and I don't really trust either of them at that point, how would I have figured out what was really going on? You know what I mean? Because I would never want to end a relationship just because somebody said something that might not be true. You know what I mean? So at that point, I didn't trust either of them. However, he did admit to it, but he only admitted to a little bit of what she told me, and the other part he wouldn't admit to. And to this day, I still don't really know what's exactly true and what's not, but I do have my suspicions for sure. So as soon as I saw these videos, I was like, can you send me like a screenshot of the timestamp and the date on those videos? She did. Sure enough, it was like 2 weeks prior, and I guess she had been blackmailing him with these videos, and then she finally sent them to me. Thank God. Because if she didn't, maybe I would still be with this idiot wasting my time while he was having an affair, So I'm really grateful that she sent me those videos. And girls, if this happens to you, like if you are with a guy and you find out he has a girl, tell the girl. Please tell the girl. Girl code, girl power, feminism, whatever you want to call it. Tell the girl. It's the right thing to do. And not in like a I got your man type of way. That's not funny. Why would you want to be the person that this guy is cheating on his girlfriend with? That's not cool. That's not, like, you don't want to be that person. But tell the girl. Tell the girl. It's the right thing to do. It's not fun to send that, like, hey girly text, but, like, I've been on both ends of it. I've been on the receiving ends of it, and I've been on the end of it where I had to send it, and neither is fun. So yeah, as soon as I saw these videos, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was still half asleep, but I just texted him, hey, we need to talk. And he texted me back a couple hours later because he was probably sleeping, He texted me back a couple hours later, I know what this is about. I'll be at your house in 20 minutes, whatever. He comes over. And I wasn't really angry until I saw his face. I was shocked and upset and like, how could he do that? But once I saw his face, I was pissed. I was like, the anger was like bubbling up inside me. I was like, Once I saw his face, I really started to feel the anger of the whole situation. So I finally took a second to like take a deep breath, calm myself down. We didn't have any big like blowout fight or anything like that, but I finally just started telling him how I felt about the situation. I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to say everything I wanted to say because I had a feeling that was the last time I was going to see him. And I wasn't sure if I was going to break up with him yet. But then I was like, no, Megan, like, you have to break up with him. He cheated on you. That's not okay, you know? So I quickly realized that I did have to break up with him, and, you know, that was going to have to be the outcome because I'm not going to stay with a man who cheated on me. And once a cheater, always a cheater. So I did end up, you know, we broke up. And I said everything I needed to say. I was really angry, really upset. He was trying to like hug me, console me, and I was like, no, just leave. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. You know, I don't want to talk about it anymore, because he was using excuses like, well, she initiated it. I was drunk, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if you're drunk. If you're drunk and you cheat on your partner, you're still cheating. You know what I mean? Like, being drunk is not an excuse, and every person that I'm friends with, when we're drunk, we can control ourselves not to cheat on our, you know, partners. So I hate when guys use that as an excuse. But anyway, so he was making up all these excuses. He left that day. We didn't talk for a couple days. And then I got this big long text from him. And it's like, I'm sorry. You know, I hope you know how much I love you. I want you back, blah, blah, blah. All this bullshit, you know. And he proceeds to say, oh, and by the way, here's what you did wrong in the relationship. And I was like, the fact that you're bringing this up to me right now is literally insane, because that's just, you don't tell people that. You don't say that to people. Like, oh, you did this wrong in the relationship, but I cheated on you and now it's over. Like, you don't bring that up at that point. You know what I mean? If you have a problem with someone you're in a relationship with, you bring it up to them right then and there, so they know about it and they can work on it and you guys can work through it together, and that's that. You don't bring it up 3 months, 4 months, 6 months later when the relationship ends. You know what I mean? So I couldn't believe he said that. And I didn't block him right away because I always have trouble doing that, but probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I finally blocked him, cut all contact. He DMs me on TikTok. Hey, I hope I'm not harassing you, but I really want to get you back, this and that. I was like, yes, you are harassing me. If somebody blocks you on everything, clearly they don't want to hear from you. And if you take the time to find an account they didn't block you on, make a fake account to text them, things like that, that is harassment. And it's crazy. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I have not done that to other people in the past, because I definitely have. And I think sometimes it's just kind of like human nature in our generation. And I feel like everyone has had an experience around that. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just crazy. But yeah, so I finally blocked him and cut contact, and we broke up. It was a month yesterday. And honestly, I feel like, considering all things considered, I'm doing okay. You know, like, I don't really miss him. I keep realizing, by the way, that my posture is like so bad, and I'm sitting here like slouched over, and I keep realizing that. So I'm like, that's why I keep like fixing my posture, because I'm trying to work on my posture. Anyways, tangent. What was I gonna say? All things considered, you know, it's been a month and I feel okay. You know, I don't miss him a lot. I'm still at the point where like everything makes me think of him. Like, the other day I put on my work shoes and I was like, oh, he was with me when I went to buy these. What's another example? Wearing a specific outfit, like, oh, I wore this outfit on one of our dates. Like, I just am at the point where everything still reminds me of him, and obviously I do miss him a little, but I don't really miss him. I miss having like a lover like that, but I don't really miss him specifically, I think. So yeah, that's what happened. There was literally video proof of him making out with this girl, so he knew he couldn't deny it, because if he denied it, he would just look even more stupid, you know. And then he proceeded to go tell his friends and people that I cheated on him, and I was like laughing about it, because I'm like, you're gonna go tell people that, but I literally have a video proof of you making out with this girl. So, like, don't even go there. But yeah, we cut contact, and I'm so glad that I actually finally just blocked him on everything and cut contact, because that's, in the end, that's what's best for me and him too, probably, honestly. I feel like, like, when I first started dating, I was like, yeah, like, it's totally possible to, like, be friends with a guy when you break up with them, but in my experiences, it is not. It is not possible to be friends with an ex, because you either end up getting back together, or it just ends up being, like, a toxic cycle. So, my personal life, I don't think I will ever choose to be friends with an ex ever again, because I've seen where it can get you, and it never ends well. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened. I got cheated on. I dumped him. It was a messy situation. There's a lot of details that I'm not even going to go into, that I didn't bring up, because there was also, like, a lot of people got involved in our breakup, and I'm not here to sit here and bash people on the internet. I'm not going to do that, because I don't want anyone to do that to me, and I'm not going to do that to anyone else. And if my ex is watching this, or, like, sees the title, he's probably gonna freak out. But what you don't realize is, like, when you hurt someone, they have the freedom, freedom of speech, to talk about it and to tell people about it, and obviously they're gonna tell people about it. Like, you think you're gonna cheat on someone and they're not gonna go tell at least their best friend, like, not how that works. So, I'm not mentioning names, I'm not sitting here bashing my ex. Completely, a little bit, but not completely. So yeah. But yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to play this card game kind of thing with you guys today, to get deeper and answer questions about this breakup and just breakups in general. So let's get into it. What title would you give this chapter of your healing process? That's an interesting question. I honestly don't know. Maybe, like, fresh off the boat or something like that, just because, like, I just started this healing process, basically, like, a month ago. Imagine you're talking to your ex. Finish the sentence. I'm sorry for nothing. The fuck? No, I don't want to, like, put myself up on a high horse and, like, seem cocky. But honestly, I don't think I ever did anything to my ex that hurt his feelings really bad. Even after he cheated on me, I still wasn't, like, trying to, like, hurt his feelings. So I honestly, like, don't think there's anything I'm sorry for, or, like, there probably is, like, a couple little things, but just nothing that comes to the top of my head at the moment. If you could ask your ex one thing and get a completely honest answer, what would it be? Probably, why did you not tell me that you cheated? And, like, how long were you planning on hiding this from me? Because he doesn't know yet. He probably misses me. Well, he definitely misses me, because he's been, texting me and, all that. But he lost one of the best girls he'll ever have. And that goes for all of my exes. What do you want to receive from a future relationship, and what do you want to give? Get specific. What do I want to receive is, like, a partner that is really good at communication. Or if he's not good at communication, then I would hope that he's, like, open to, like, learning how to communicate better with me. And what do I want to give? Well, obviously, I want to be a good girlfriend. I want to give my boyfriend, love and attention, and, like, a space where he feels comfortable to be himself and talk about anything. And yeah, love. I want to give love. What was the biggest turning point in your dating life? Probably getting cheated on, honestly. This was the first time I got cheated on. So picture you're talking to your ex. Finish the sentence. You hurt me, but thank you for being there for me and being kind to me and all the romantic gestures you did before you cheated on me. What did your last relationship make you appreciate about yourself? Probably just that I'm a good girlfriend. Like, I love just doing little, like, romantic gestures for my partner, and being kind to them and loving and caring and compassionate and being there for them. Like, I appreciate that about myself, that I'm a good girlfriend and a good person. I always want to be a good person. How has your last relationship prepared you for your next one? if two things. First of all, if you notice from right off the bat that he's not good at communicating, red flag, run. That's why these cars are red. Red flag, run. And if you have an intuition that he's cheating on you, he probably is. So go with your gut. If your gut says something's going on, something's probably going on. Who in your life has been treating you right lately? Let them know before moving on to the next card. X is not included. Well, definitely my best friend Ava. We've been best friends for like 2 years now, and she's been there for me through thick and thin, like this entire 2 years. We got really, really close really quickly, and she's been there with me through everything I've been through for this past 2 years, and it's been a lot. College and my grandma passing away and relationship things and breakups, literally everything. She's been here with me now for 2 breakups, and she just is always there for me when I really need her. The night of my breakup, she showed up at my door with her arms open, ready to hug me, and, she laid in bed with me and let me cry to her for hours on end. And, that's what I needed. I needed her to be there for me, to cry to her, and she was there for me. So I don't think she'll ever, I tell her a lot, but I don't think she'll ever really, understand the gratitude I have towards her and the amount of appreciation I have for that girl. She's literally my everything. I love her to death, and we better be friends forever because I want her at my wedding, in the hospital room when I give birth to my child. She's gonna be my child's auntie. We're best friends forever. You're stuck with me, girl. What part of your last relationship worked and what part of it hurt? Well, I think what worked is that we had a lot in common, and we understood a lot about each other, I felt like. And what hurt was that he never asked to see me, really. And I would always tell him, hey, you never really asked to see me, and it kind of hurts my feelings, and it's kind of weird, that I'm always the one, come over, or can we go out, or, I was always the one kind of setting up plans. So that was, kind of weird to me, and I hated that. And it also hurt that he didn't know how to communicate well, so I always feel like my feelings were getting, invalidated and ignored. What story about love have you been telling yourself that no longer serves you, and how would you like that story to change? Well, I think I've just always thought this about a lot of things, that there's, some perfect version of love and perfect version of this, that, and other thing, when there isn't. Because nothing's perfect, and nobody's perfect, and nothing's ever going to be perfect. No one's ever going to be a perfect person. Everybody makes mistakes. It's human nature. And there's never going to be really any perfect thing. Nothing's perfect. Everything always has flaws. But at the same time, I do think there is a kind of perfect, I'm saying perfect because, nothing's perfect, but, there is some kind of, perfect version of love where, when you meet your soulmate, you're gonna know, and the love is gonna feel perfect, and it's gonna feel different than all the other times before, because it is kind of your perfect love, if that makes sense. What's the best lesson an ex has ever taught you? So there's 2. One from my first boyfriend, which he was really pretty helpful to me when I was going through a really bad depressive episode, and he told me that, without bad days we wouldn't have good days, because there would be no contrast and we wouldn't know the difference. And that's literally so true, because if every day was just good and every day felt like the best day, in the world, then eventually that would start to become mundane and boring, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought that was a helpful thing that I still use, I still think about to this day. And my second ex taught me that words hurt people, and you have to be really careful with what you're saying and who you're saying it to. Did their love leave you feeling good most of the time? If not, what was the dominant feeling they left you with? Probably it's really sad to think about, but probably honestly emptiness. Because I feel like everything was good and dandy when we were together, but then the second he would leave, I would kind of be left feeling kind of empty. And I can't pinpoint why, but yeah. Do you like your ex as a person, or were you just in love? Explain. I definitely was just love blind and blinded by love with my most recent ex, because I didn't like him as a person because he wasn't really a good person. He did a lot of mean things to me and to a lot of other people. So like he had a really like mean side to him kind of. So I don't think I liked him as a person. I think I was just really love blinded. And that's a hard situation. Like being love blinded sucks. And yeah, like I feel like I kind of just fell for the whole like bad boy act. Like he put on an act that he was so like respectful and this and that, and he was sometimes, but I feel like I just really just like fell for the bad boy thing cuz he was not even my type. What have all your previous relationships had in common that you'd like to avoid moving forward, if anything? Me just being really dependent on the guy. I think I need to learn how to not get super, like, not become super dependent on my partner. And I need to, like, learn how to have a romantic relationship, but also continue working on myself and having more self-love while in a relationship. How did you get over your first love? Time. I really just, like, one day I woke up and I kind of just was over it, you know, like I guess because you have to adapt to not having certain people in your life at one point or another. And I think that honestly time just really got me over it. So it's important to remember, if you're going through a breakup, time will make it a little bit better. Over time, it does get better. It does get easier. And also, like 16-year-old me, or 17, how old was I? I think I had just turned 18 when we broke up. So like 18-year-old me would have never thought that I'd be sitting here today fully confidently saying that I am over my first love. So that's just something to think about. Would you encourage your future child to be in a relationship like your last? No, absolutely not. I'm going to tell my children, do not go for the bad boy or bad girl. No matter how like exciting and fun and sexy it seems, it's not. So don't go for that. And I really love how our generation is all about like healing our inner child, and we all want to do like gentle parenting and raise our kids the way we didn't get raised. Our generation is like all about breaking generational trauma, and I love that. So I want to really keep things open with my children and have open conversations about relationships, because by the time I have kids, I will have been through a lot of experiences that I want to tell them about. Significant other aside, when you visualize coming home to a life you love, what does that look like? Coming home to my own dream apartment with my cats and a dog, and lighting a candle and having a glass of champagne, and sitting on my balcony watching the sunset with my friends, with my girl best friends, over for us to like watch The Bachelorette or something. Yeah, and then someday, obviously, when I am older, I want to come home to my kids and my pets and come home after a long day of working in a theater. That's like my dream life. What feels unique about this heartbreak, if anything? It was the first time I was cheated on. And also having to see those videos of him making out with this girl was really, really hard, obviously. Because usually I feel like people get cheated on and there's not always proof like that. After your most recent breakup, what song did you play on repeat? Fuck Falling in Love by Bella Dose, Say My Name by Destiny's Child, and the Sour album by Olivia Rodrigo, which came out right around the time I was going through my first breakup, and you best bet I had that album on repeat again this time around. What are 3 things you can appreciate about being single, even if it feels hard? Spending more time with myself and doing things I love and working on self-love. Having the freedom to like talk to any guys and like, you know, just have fun and meet new guys and make new relationships, and working on myself, like my healing journey and my healing process. Do you have a limiting belief about love, and where do you think it stems from? How can you challenge this belief? I think yes, because I grew up, you know, my dad passed away when I was 2. So I never got to see my parents in a relationship. And the other relationships that I witnessed were not always the best relationships. And growing up, I was kind of always told, like, relationships aren't good. Don't get married. If a guy does this, you have to just leave, blah, 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 blah. Like, I had a lot of things about marriages and relationships put into my head at a young age, or not even necessarily a young age, but just when I was younger. And how can I challenge that? I think just by having my own romantic experiences and my own life experiences and making my own decisions about relationships. What advice would you give a friend or loved one going through a similar situation as you? If he cheats, you need to leave him. No excuses, because if you stay with a cheater, you have little to no self-respect for yourself, and you need to work on that. Because you deserve so much more than being cheated on by some idiot who does not deserve you. What has helped you heal from a heartbreak in the past besides time and meeting someone new? That's a hard question, because I feel like obviously time, like I just said, helped me get over my first love, and also meeting someone new I feel like kind of helped with that. So I don't know. This is a hard question. Honestly, I don't know if I can answer this, because I feel like I've never fully healed from a relationship. Like my first relationship, I was just like acting like I'm fine. I never needed him anyway. But then I realized later on that that was false. And I had to actually like deal with that later on. So I honestly don't know. Did your last relationship reveal some toxic traits in yourself that you'd like to work on? If so, what are they? I'm sure there are some, but I just can't think of many right now. You know what? I guess one of them is like expecting too much from the guy and like asking for too much. I feel like I kind of ask for too much sometimes. What parts of yourself do you need to break up with? Oh, my shopping addiction. What can you be doing now with all the energy you were putting into them? Putting it into myself, putting it into my friends, my mom, my family, theater, school, work. There's so many things I can, where I can like refocus that energy into other things. And so many people that deserve that energy way more. Were you more attracted to their potential or who they really were? Definitely their potential. And the last card, are you talking to other people currently? A couple, yes. If so, are you seeking a real connection or needing a distraction? I would say probably both. I obviously, I have put myself, I'm not, taking time away from dating necessarily. I haven't gone on any dates since or anything like that, but I don't know. I kind of just, I want a connection, but I also feel like I kind of need a distraction. So I would say a little bit of both. So that is all I have for you guys for today's episode of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to say thank you for all the love on the first episode. And if you stuck around until now, comment a heartbreak emoji. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I will see you soon and talk to you soon. And yeah, love you guys. Bye.